you all for coming to our annual Financial Leadership Forum, brought to you by Robert Half and the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Singapore. This is the 6th year we are organising this event. Every year, we bring together like-minded people to share their thoughts and perspectives on what's ahead in the financial landscape. This year, we are very honoured to have 4 distinguished panellists with us. First, we have Dr. Ernest Khan, the President of ICPAS. Next, we have Mr. Andrew Chow, Partner at Wong Partnership. Next, Mr. Tay Lai Watt. He is the Chief Operating Officer and Chief Financial Officer of Stanford Land. And last but not least, we have Mr. Jeff Weir, Chief Financial Officer of Digicel for the Asia Pacific region. And of course, what's a good panel without a moderator? We are very honoured to have Matthew Shaw, Director of Rubicon Consulting, as our moderator.
There has been a number of regulatory changes. Whether it's an explosion, I suppose, I remember just sometime last year, over a period of 4 weeks.
Mr. Tay, there's been some changes to your board recently. And isn't there a bit of a pressure on to deliver star candidate independent directors?
We always need an industry expert. And if you are in that business, we must know who are the experts in the world. And there are plenty out there. If you look hard enough, you'll find all the right people.
Andrew, do you concur with that view?
Actually, I just wanted to agree with Dr. Khan's point that we have a lot of smart and talented people in Singapore. The fundamental thing for a compliance officer, if you look at history, is go back to your principles.
Coming to Jeff Weir, can I ask you, was the regulatory environment here one of the reasons behind the company's decision to move here and set up here?
And if you broaden it out beyond the regulatory environment in terms of the actual general business environment, we find Singapore to be very pro-business and very an easy place to establish regional headquarters and to start to do business here.
Continuing learning is something that we must, pay attention. If you look at regulatory changes, quite often when things happen, if you look at, in particular in Singapore, having been in this environment for all these years, this is a market where we are known for confidence and good governance.
What are the biggest regulatory challenges facing your company today, and how are you responding to them?
The biggest issue that we face is around continuity. So it's obviously imperative that we are certain about what is happening within those marketplaces.
Singapore, we can handle all the regulatories and all the compliance without any problem. In Australia, our biggest problem is the taxation.
The thing that that has been actually come out so far has been relating to the financial rules, Basel II, Basel III. The ones that will come about that will actually significantly impact banks would be things relating to OTC derivatives.
Within the listing rule, a number of new changes have come on board. One of which is the requirement for the board to express an opinion as to whether the company having sufficient internal controls addressing the financial risk, the operational risk, and the compliance risk.
So what advice do you have for other financial professionals trying to negotiate their way through these new regulatory changes?
You've got to be proactive about this. You've got to get involved, talk to the regulator, talk to the government departments, but also look at peers and look at other industries and see how that's influencing.
We do not want to do things then try to correct. We want to do it right first time and keep it simple.
I think first of all is to be serious about continuing professional education. I think more importantly is for them to interact more with the very people at the top that they work with, those charged with governance.
I think the most important thing is to try and understand the principles behind the statutes and the regulations, to substantially comply by actually looking at the spirit of what is trying to be achieved. I think that will help them really focus on the important things and really then comply with the regulation.
So philosophical question, looking at the big picture now, Jeff. Will these regulatory changes ultimately stifle the creativity and inventiveness of the business community?
I must say that we would not exist as an organisation without regulators. We have been very successful in going in on the back of deregulation within developing nations across the world. So we actually support strong regulation within the markets.
There are too much imagination. If you look at the structured product today, some of those I can't even understand because the way they structure those products is like one overlaying another and another, and they give you a AAA rating. At the end of the day, though it sounds good, but one underlying agent is probably that very big bank giving the guarantee.
I think we are over-regulating at the moment. And the thing is that by having this overregulation, a lot of people are pushing back. And what you get would be a diluted regulation.
And for young people just starting in the profession, how would you suggest they stay on top of these changes?
There's absolutely a huge wealth of opportunity within the regulatory field, and both on the regulation side and also in terms of understanding it from a commercial point of view. There's a huge boom in that sector because it has developed over time and hasn't been well serviced in the past. So there's certainly lots of opportunities.
Probably the best area to go into will be the audit firm first. That's where you learn a lot within the first 2-3 years.
Because many of these younger professionals, they are working in a team, but they got to know what is the board thinking, what is senior management thinking, and what is audit committee thinking. To work with this group of people to understand better, because there are different challenges in different industry. While the rules are there, but when and how you apply it can vary from industry to industry.
I think the most important thing is to try and understand the principles behind the statutes and the regulations.
The requirement for the board to express an opinion as to whether the company having sufficient internal controls.
We do not want to do things then try to correct. We want to do it right first time and keep it simple.
You've got to be proactive about this. You've got to get involved